Hello and welcome to Let's Play Factorio with me, Kalalification. We're now on part 2. And in between this part and the last, I did just go in and make a few changes to the production line here. First thing you'll notice off the bat is obviously I have run this metal production line longer. The reason I did that was twofold. One is so that in part, I wanted to try and avoid basically what's happening right here, where the metal is stacking on the ends and not being used. And in order to do that, you basically just have to spread out the whole chain. And it's working better now than it was before, I can tell, because this over here, it's stockpiling, but it's not stockpiling all the way. So as metal demand increases over time, which it will inevitably, I'll turn that on, this will produce properly. The other reason was because I needed to amp up cog production. So I wanted to create an easy access point for the cog machines to create or grab the metal for creation. The other thing, we successfully researched, I think, 2 technologies. One of them, I think, is engine. The other one was... that might have been the only one that we researched. And right now we're researching electric energy distribution, rank 1. There have been no attacks or anything of that nature, although we are now, like, seriously on the enemy turf. So I'm thinking defense is a major priority right now. And what I'm going to do is... oh, the other thing I did was set up this stone mine here, which is creating bricks for me. What I'm going to do is start creating walls in mass. And we're going to just start walling from... I think from here is where we're going to make our edge, and we're going to wall in... We'll wall in this stone deposit. Sorry, I just got a little something in my throat. Do it like this, and we want to go down quite a distance. And we are just trying to put some space in between the two of us. Make a couple of gun turrets as well. Sorry, just a second. Okay, had to cough there. And so what I did here is I have 2 stone mines. One of them only has a very small number of resources it's collecting, and it's just producing straight into there. The other one is spitting out into a furnace. You can see here it's creating the bricks for us. And I'm just gonna leave that working. We have a couple of gun turrets that just finished. I'm going to go ahead and set those up down here in the open space. Again, gun turrets do not require power, just ammo. So let's split, and then we'll split that and give that there. And I don't think we have anything on the right side to worry about. To be honest, we have not done anything with radar. I don't think we will in the near term. I kind of see it as a waste of a lot of power. So we're not going to deal with that right now. Oh, also, obviously, I just increased the number of furnaces that are now burning over here. So our goal right now, I think, is to probably increase our science eating production. So for that, I will want to create more red science packs at a different location, along with more green science packs. And I'm thinking we're going to set that up directly on the left here. So these inserters, we are creating enough of them to power this easily. We definitely have more than enough transport belt production. Go down one more. And if we just build another one of these on the opposite side here, we'll probably be able to start production of green science packs right away. The only real question is the red science packs, and for that, I think we have an excess of cog production right now, so I can just route one to go up. Should not be a problem. Do a fast inserter. We're going to need 2 of those actually. So we'll pull off of this line, and the other one is going to pull off of that line. And we'll do that. Sorry, just one more second. I don't know what's up with me today. We're going to go for green science, and that's already going to start producing. I do believe we can easily keep pace with the 2 green science factories based on the amount of inserters and transported belts that we can produce. So then we already have tons of transport belts. We'll want to start routing green science packs. Okay, we've completed electric energy distribution 1. This gives us access to medium electric poles and big electric poles. You can see here the supply area on the medium electric poles is larger and the big area poles is smaller. What you use big electric poles for basically is they have a very long distance that they can be used between areas. So like the small electric pole, you just have a very short distance between the wire reaching and the wire not reaching, you can see there. And with big electric poles, it's much longer range, even if it doesn't have a very large supply area. And in fact, you would never use these in any normal sense, simply because they themselves require, I think, 4x4 space to be placed, and their supply area is like just one around that. So they're never useful in the sense of like powering structures near them. However, they are useful in the sense of connecting your various structures to each other over long distances. Now, one thing we don't have going yet, and that will be an issue for us, I think, is the production of steel. We just don't have it in any fashion at the moment. And steel is very important. It's a resource that you use for most of the higher end buildings in the game. And we don't have the iron production, I think, at the moment to really justify trying to create steel, so we're probably going to have to set up another iron mine is what that means. And for that we're going to need more coal, and so I'm thinking, and how's our power doing? Probably satisfying it, but not by much. Actually, we're doing okay. But for, well, actually, how are we doing on coal? We might be able to just simply extend the coal line to this other iron section over here. I'm actually just going to explore a little bit, see if we can't find another deposit of coal over on the right. If I had radars, that would come in handy now, obviously, but we do not, so we'll just do it by hand. And I'm not seeing any coal over there. So we have this massive coal deposit down by our power generation. And we have this large iron deposit here, obviously. But we don't have any coal near it, so that's going to be problematic. What we might be able to do... We could run it on solid fuel, which is going to require us to get oil processing. Oh, we can start a new research. Did I not select one? Right. Okay, let's get oil processing next. So what you can do with oil processing is output your unused materials. Like, you use a lot of petroleum gas for other purposes, but light and heavy oil you won't really use for a long time. So you can just turn those into solid fuel, and you can then have the solid fuel feed onto a belt that will be used in the same fashion as coal will, except it's more efficient. It's much more efficient than coal. So that could power this assembly area. But of course, we're going to have to complete our research on oil processing first. Anyways, let's get back to fixing this situation with the new labs, we're going to need more iron. Grab 1, 2, 3. We can probably fit 4 of them, really, with the current level of demand. It seems like we could probably afford to do that, maybe even more off of how much these 2 are doing. This is obviously going to... I'm trying to think for a second here. It might actually... Let me just place one of these for purposes of me thinking, really. So what I'm thinking we could do here is run a second line up, and that line is going to be the red sciences. And then we could just use a long-handed inserter to actually feed the labs. So let's try that out. Our power demand is going to skyrocket for this. For feeding all these new labs. Labs are very power intensive. So I guess that means we could just produce the red straight off of that cog assembly line right here, which is convenient. And then we could route that onto this line. Just throw this one down. We've got all these labs being produced. Man, we really need to amp up our walls down there. Of course, yeah, it's going to prioritize the construction of those other things first, so it doesn't even matter that we selected it yet. I'd like to contain these oil deposits as well. We have a humongous quantity of oil in our starting area, just like ridiculous amount. On another of my sandbox games, I had like 3 oil pockets near my spawn, and I had to build a rail out just an extreme distance in order to find any sizable amount of oil. And even then, there was not friggin' 8 deposits sitting in an open field like this. So yeah, we definitely got lucky on oil. However, we are kind of short on coal, unfortunately. We do have this all the way out here, but I really don't see any way to bring this over easily to production. If we get rail going, we could just create a stop and have it fill up. That would be feasible. But I think by the time we do that, it's already going to be past the point where we're going to really want to use coal as fuel. Okay, so we got more of that wall completed. Now, let's get on the red science here. It doesn't really matter which side we put it on. Go ahead and use a fast inserter. You're going to create red sciences, and we will just drop copper bars in a box and have it pull from the box. Just take those, and you're going to output onto this line. I have no copper on me at all. I should go grab some. Our copper mines are always stacking because all we use it for is coils, and coils aren't being used by anything really right now. Circuit production is definitely one thing we could do to kind of increase our productivity even just marginally, is move this down to the end. Right, try to use my head for a second here and realize what we're doing. We want to create more inserters. So we'll just feed cogs in. Oops, that's not on my hotkeys. And we will feed science out. Go ahead and do this. And on this line, we will have pick up science. And we want to use that probably. Pick up science here. And we'll move this. Just kind of want to put this at the same rate of extraction is why I would care about where those are placed. And we got one long hand for here, another one here, and we need one more long hand and one more inserter, fast inserter. And then we will be able to automate the production of science on this track. We can throw down this last one here. We can actually fit another one, but I don't think our demand or our production can keep pace with that demand. And we want to output here. Do that and that. And we'll just do that. And now we want to grab this and that. And then we will have a lot more than twice as fast on our science research rate. Whatever, we'll just break the mold on this part. Okay, so yeah, what we're waiting on right now, really, I guess, is oil processing. Once we get oil processing, then I will start setting up plants that will produce solid fuel for us, and then we'll use solid fuel to power the new iron that will be turned into steel. Although, I think we actually need steel for the refinery buildings, so we should probably at least get one of these working on that. And what I'll do simply here is just take all of the iron that's being made here, and we'll instead transfer that iron straight into this furnace here, and we'll have the furnace here feed off of the coal line as usual. And then we can just throw this in a box, and it takes 5 iron in order to smelt 1 steel, which is quite a lot. Again, showcasing the level of resource iron extraction you need to maintain anything beyond the really early game. How much bricks do we have? 59. We can stack up another 17, and it'll allow us to make some walls again. Drag this back over. So we almost enclosed the area here. Oh, okay, oil processing finished. Now we should probably deal with fluid handling, really. Although if we're just going to make straight into solid fuels, it's not necessarily the next priority we have. Logistics 2 would be good. Kind of analyze this for a second. Gun turret damage upgrade gives 10% bonus. It's pretty good, but I don't think we worry about that yet. I think we'll go for plastics. Plastics is part of the next chain of items that we need to start getting research tier 3. Plastic is used in the creation of advanced circuits, which are then used in the creation of processor things. So let's just check to see if this is actually producing any science or if it can make it that far down. It looks like 3 might be the cap for one of these. Not entirely sure. It's no guarantee, I suppose. If it does make it down there. Oh yeah, it can handle 4, kind of. We are not producing enough energy now. Should probably just reconstruct this entire power grid down here, realistically. Grab that steel we have, not very much of it yet. I'm also going to set up another furnace, actually, for steel. Right here. We'll use a long hand to pull out there. We'll take this off of that. Oh, right, I do want to keep the coal fed. And then, we cannot, we'll just have to do this manually then for a little bit. Which is fine, because these are temporary anyways. Doesn't matter if they're going to eventually run out of resources. Alright, and we will have you export to a box right here. Okay. Got worried there for a second that our coal production was lacking, but I remembered that I had just extracted all that coal off the end, and that's what caused it. Grab more of these, create more of the walls. And we do need to deal with the power situation. At this point, what I might do is just move our power down into the bottom right here. How I initially planned it before I decided to conserve our initial resources. So we're just going to set up our new situation down here. And the added benefit there is that it is farther away from the alien base, which might reduce the amount of pollution we're throwing in their direction. I think pollution is persistent though, so it may not help. Alright, so what we'll do here is grab a couple of pipe to grounds. And we will then heat in the boilers here, I think. Although, let me just think for a moment. Ideally, what we want to do is feed coal into... Yeah, we probably want to turn this, actually, so... I guess this is fine, but we then want to change the direction of the water to flow horizontally, because we're going to want to feed into the boilers like that direction. Okay. And just for proofing us against future issues where we have to walk around, I'm just going to leave a small gap there. And we will start creating some boilers. Alright. Let's clear out some more of these trees. What I might also do here is just throw in another pump to head up another chain down on the other side. So let's create a couple of steam engines. Not exactly sure how many. Oh, that's inefficient. How many steam engines 4 boilers can power. So we'll just throw down a couple, literally. I'm also not sure how much the pump is outputting. 10 units of water. I guess that's fine, whatever. And then what we're going to want to do here again is do pipe to grounds, and we're going to want to basically route another one. So if we look at the actual flow of coal, what we're wanting is right here. So I'll hook this up. I think this is right. Fluid's always a little bit interesting to deal with. Yeah, we want to bend this up, obviously. So let's just mirror that and then connect it with the remaining pipes. Okay. And hook up 4 more boilers. And now we can hook up a couple more steam engines. Okay. And now we'll want to use, I'm thinking probably medium electric pole for all this stuff. So you can see basically it covers a much larger area. Put one here, and we're going to want to put another one. Actually, this might be better. Do it this way. We can cover all these, and then we'll use the small poles to cover these. Misplaced that by 1. There we go. And now we can connect this to the big grid. We don't have really any steel, but once we do, we can connect to the big grid over there. So now the question is coal production feeding into this. Whoops. Tear down this tree. Apparently that tree was blocking line of sight there. Okay. We want to do probably just 2 electric mining drills should be sufficient for the amount of coal that we're going to be burning on this, I would think. Put 1 there and 1 here. Hook it straight up, and we can then use some small power ones because I don't really want to waste the steel, to connect this to that, which will then connect it to its own grid, separate from the main grid, but it's still part of its own electrical system, which will mean that these boilers start actually working. Or theoretically would if they had any coal at all to begin with. What we're going to do instead of feed coal in there, though, is just hook it up to the main power grid. And now we have these starting to work. Once this coal gets down here, if I remember to actually place the inserters, and we'll just use regular ones for this. No need to use fast inserters on this chain because the demand is not ever going to be high enough to merit it. And now we do this. Go. We can see this producing energy now, and we will want to now really get rid of this section over here, although we may just leave it for now. In the future, when we transition over to major steel production and start doing solar energy and stuff, I'm going to want to access this coal and then I'll move it. I think that's probably how that's going to go. Let's go grab the stone here. Should have quite a few in here now after dealing with all that. 117, which will allow us to make quite a few sections of wall. Oh, we just researched plastics. Now we want to probably get... I'm thinking we probably want fluid handling. Sulfur's important, but let's just get this. Start making these walls. got more oil down here. Apparently a massive copper deposit down here. Yeah, in the forest, of course, so it's going to be annoying to access, but it is there. Alright, so we've done that. Apparently we have run out of energy on this somehow. Did I take away the coal feeder? I must have. But we should have plenty of steel saved up in these boxes now. 28 there. How much here? It's only 28. Okay. Well, that's still 58 steel. Enough to start doing stuff with oil refineries. So let's first produce a pump jack. And that's just eating through regular iron plate, which we will go collect a bit of here. Do that. Okay. So we have plenty of iron plate. And this is kind of a bad idea to allow it to stockpile down here. What's going on? Why is this not producing? Oh, we ran out of copper in this thing. I see. Let you take that. We'll go collect more from here. Now then, got to get some stone bricks so we can make the oil refinery, which is what we're going to do after we create a pump jack. This is our old stuff chest. I noticed we had a burner miner on us, so I'll just put that in there. Alright, so pump jack, we will have... Good, we can still place that. I was kind of worried about whether or not that would fall into the water. Face it that way. And then we're going to need lots of pipes, so let's start producing those. Hook this up to the grid as well, like so. And it's going to take us a long time on that oil refinery. 2 of these crude jacks working should be plenty. The yield isn't that great, but you know, again, it's 2 of them, so it should be fine. Insofar as I'm actually going to move this junk chest down here. Insofar as meeting the simple demands that we're going to have for the near term. Right, that's right, I'm just putting junk in here. Sorry, I'm a little bit scatterbrained at the moment. And we were going to go through this again. Let's connect. So you can see crude oil coming out of there. We'll have this one face up probably. And we will just have the oil refinery like this. And we can already hook this up and start producing. We're going to want to select basic oil processing. We don't have advanced unlocked yet. And what you'll see here, for those of you who don't know how fluids work in this game, or rather the oil industry in particular, we have 3 resources that are outputted from an oil refinery. You use basic oil processing. You get crude oil inputs, which you get from pump jacks, and then you use the refinery to create these 3 outputs, which are petroleum gas, light oil, and heavy oil. And the last one, the petroleum gas, that's used in a lot of the products that you're going to be needing. The other 2, not so much. So they are a bit tricky to deal with. The thing about fluid production is, unlike with standard production, you have to actually send these somewhere, right? Like, I mean, that is normal. Like, you can't just store an infinite amount of resources inside of your production building. However, these won't go anywhere unless you send them somewhere. Since they're fluids, they have to be sent out by pipeline. And what I'm going to do with these is just send them into a chemical processing plant for the purposes of solid fuel production. And we really just need pipeline. I should probably just create a factory that creates pipeline. Let me just do that really quickly. And so we're going to use solid fuel to power our new iron industry over there. Just waiting on that pipeline producer. And basically, this should work fine. Let's do this. Set this up to do producing pipeline. We will hook up a fast inserter to do a box. I did not mean to make a steel chest. Can we cancel that? No, not quite. Whatever. We will send our output to this box here. And we're then going to start just producing tons of steel pipe into that box, which is good. Steel pipe is a lot like transporter belts and inserters. You just need an ungodly quantity of them. Speaking of inserters, let's go and pick up a little bit more of these. Pick up 2 stacks. Okay, now we want to do a chemical processing plant for each one of these. And we want to send this into its own chemical processing that will be useful in actual production of research stuff down there. Okay, so let's build a couple of actual chemical plants. We're going to need more steel, which should be producing down here at the furnaces. We still have coal there. Yeah, we're good on coal. We'll top it off again though. 17 steel plate there and 17 there. Definitely not producing that fast from just those 2, but it's enough to get us the chemical plants that we need. Alright, now I'll show you how the chemical plant works. We will start out with production of solid fuel from this. Actually, cancel those and go grab it from the box. So when I specify what it's going to do, whoops, okay, we just finished fluid handling. That's useful for a number of reasons. The main thing is the storage tank you're going to get out of that. Let's select our next research. We'll send it to be probably sulfur processing. All right, so what we're going to do here is produce from heavy oil. You can see that's the output that's feeding in here. We're going to produce solid fuel. And solid fuel, as you would expect from the name, is a solid material. So it should be extracted with an inserter. And what we're going to do with it is just put it in a chest right now. The other one will do a similar thing here. Do that there, and one more here. Taking a long time on these fast inserters to build. Alright, and we're going to output that to a chest, and we're going to output the other one to a chest. And then we will build a third chemical plant. That's kind of silly. I should put that farther forward and just power all of this at once. And we will move it down here to connect to the grid. Okay, so we want to specify this one's going to be light oil to solid fuel, and then this is going to connect to its own chemical plant down here. And petroleum, we're going to create plastic, which costs coal and petroleum gas. So we can hook up the coal from here to a line here, basically. So we're probably going to want to just bring this down farther, really. Okay. Just bring it as close as we can. This is fine, I guess. Move this back a little bit so we have room for the actual chemical plant, which is going to require coal inputs. Plastic, and we will then export the iron or the plastic onto a box like the other two are exporting their fuel. And this isn't even working yet because obviously there's not any power on the actual oil refinery yet, which is fine. It's kind of ideal for me given the fact that I want to try and set this all up properly before we have to deal with fluids not being managed well. And we're going to break this and include a down pipe. Let me just make sure we got 10. There we go. Now it'll be fast to create one of these. Pipe to ground are simply just underground belts, but in fluid form. I'll hook this up here. Alright, now we've got oil processing occurring. What we're going to see is this 20 crude oil, which is coming from our pump jacks. It's going to get processed into those materials. It'll produce, every time it processes 20, it produces 3 heavy, 3 light, and 4 petroleum. And then what we see is the heavy and light turning into solid fuel in the chemical plants, the petroleum going down here, getting turned into plastic. And that is how the oil industry works, or at least a very simple part of the oil industry. And we're only using 2 pump jacks and 1 oil refinery here, which is fine because I think that is enough material feeding in. Although, what we might do, since we researched fluid handling, I'm actually just going to feed this down here, and what we're going to do is create a storage tank. And storage tanks, all they do is accumulate resources. So we'll face it like that, and you can see it has a capacity of, I think, like 5,000 or something. So you can store a lot of material there. All the excess crude oil that's not being used in this reaction to create the light and heavy and petroleum is going to get stored in this tank. So instead of being wasted, we can have that production continue. Now, are we good on all this stuff up here? It seems like our research has slowed. Oh, we just got a bunch of it done at once, so never mind. Guess we were just bottlenecked on processing for a second there. Collect the steel here. 16 steel plates and 16 steel plates. Okay, not exactly ideal, whatever. I'd like to get railroads soon. How are we doing on that? After sulfur processing, though, I think we're going to go for batteries. So sulfur is the other main thing that you're going to be dealing with on the oil industry. And what you're dealing with there specifically is you want to create sulfuric acid from sulfur. So sulfur is a solid. You produce it in a chemical plant like plastic. I believe to create sulfur you need iron plates, you need petroleum, and you might need coal as well. Or no, you need water. That's what it is, yes. And once you have those 3 things, you'll produce a solid called sulfur. Apparently we are now under attack over here, but it looks like our turrets took out the enemy there. Should collect this stone over here and finish off the wall down there, because that is definitely going to be an issue for us. We can again set up more down here. We could just power our actual power facilities with solid fuel, but I don't think we will, since we have all that coal just sitting there. And we're just waiting on pump jack production, really. It takes a long time to create these later items, which is why you kind of want to be doing other stuff before you plan to build lots of these things. I don't really have a lot of other stuff to be doing at the moment, though. We certainly have a lot of production going on here with all these new fluids. So solid fuel value is 25 megajoules. Coal has 8 megajoules, so that's a comparison. and then wood, I believe, just, yeah, 4. So coal is twice as effective as wood, but this is over 3 times as effective as coal. So solid fuel is definitely the fuel to be using for pretty much all of your energy consumption purposes. We will do that, and then we'll feed the last one down here, connect a pipeline here. We'll only set up these 3 for now, I guess. And I think we'll probably use this to create... Do we want to... No, probably not. Probably want to shift that over here to be able to create sulfur, because iron is right there. Just waiting on this last pump jack. So there we go, 3rd pump jack. And we will then have our pipelines connect all 3 of these. Okay. And we might just... Don't have any steel, of course. But I was going to say we might just hook up that to a couple of storage tanks for now. Start stockpiling the resource, because I don't know exactly what I want to do with it yet. Because I think we are going to have to amp up our steel production before we really deal with any of that other stuff. Are we producing the appropriate amount yet? Okay, we're still stockpiling here. But that's because we're not feeding onto the track. We may not... It's tough to say whether or not we're actually meeting... Yeah, we're meeting iron demand, it looks like, for now. It's this additional pipeline thing here which is causing the increased demand, because it's just feeding into a box. Will continue forever. I'll grab some more pipeline, though. And we have a lot of this, so let's continue doing that. Almost ready to finish off this wall. Might be better for us to create plastics down here, since we have that gigantic amount of coal, and then create sulfur up there. But I guess we'll see in a while here. So yeah, I mean, aliens did attack us earlier. That's why this wall right here... Oh, we just finished sulfur processing. So batteries is the next thing we want to do, I believe. Batteries allow us to create Science Pack 3s. We aren't going to be able to do that yet because there's a lot of other stuff that goes into making Science Pack 3s, but batteries are good. Also allows us to research the electric energy accumulator, which is important for making use of solar power. I'm really thinking this would be an ideal place to produce lots of plastic. But we'll leave it alone for now. What we really need is to amp up steel production right now. So I should just build a couple of mines, and we ought to go and start setting up a production line over here. I've got these two. We can create fuel out of those and feed the fuel onto a track. So let's just start on that. Do that there. That there. Did I only queue up 3 of these? Let's do 4 of them. And one more. Instead of building another pump jack, I think I'm just going to steal from over on that other side. And we don't have enough resources to create an oil refinery or a chemical plant. Not enough iron and not enough stone. So let's take the steel out of here again. And take the iron out of this. Can I take just half of it? Probably. Take half of half. How much plastic do we have in here? 174. How much fuel do we have in there? 144, 198. It's good. We cannot do that yet because we need bricks, right? There's a lot of stuff to consider. I feel like this music is a little bit loud. I'm going to turn that down just slightly. And, you know, I mean, obviously, we aren't even really pressed for time at the moment. I don't have any issues with security yet. no major ones anyways, that we can't deal with just by throwing more guns at the issue. So kind of easy to lose focus at this little area here. Do that, and we will build an oil refinery and a chemical plant. We're going to need 2 of these, 3 of them actually. We'll create solid fuel from all 3 of the resources. Let's just start hooking up a pipeline to feed into a refinery. Do the refinery right here. And these structures take a long time to build. Could do 2 more of those there, but I don't know if we really want to do that yet. Need more iron again. I'm positive we're going to be using more of that because we're going to need inserters basically. I might just go take some of those off the line up here. I'll give those guys something to do for a while. We need more copper there, so we'll just pick some up out of this. And they're actually going to need to use cable for a while there. Yeah, you can have that. Producing red science packs. And I grabbed the steel out of here. Did we get the iron already? No, we didn't. Okay. Didn't really get that much iron out of it. We're really using a lot of iron right now. I think I might cease production on this pipeline over here. We got plenty in there now, I think. All right. Now then, what were we doing over here exactly? I do not remember. Were we just getting iron? I think so. Can only build 2 more of these at the moment, just because we don't have a lot of iron. Alright, oil refinery. Oh, battery's done. Could do electric energy accumulators. Let's research military though. There's that. There's that. And this can be started to fed down there. Let's grab a couple of these and a couple of these. Trying to think of how best to do this. There we go. This should work out fine, since all we're going to do with all 3 of these is produce fuel. And we're done with that already. We can do military 2s. Let's just do it. That's fine. Connect. Connect this down here. Connect this to right here. And we'll do the top one like so. Okay. Now we just need to hook this up to the actual grid. There we go. And it'll start producing the basic oil reaction. So we're going to do heavy here. We will do, what is this, lights here, and petroleum here. And we will then export this into, I might just do a conveyor belt line straight down there. Oh, okay. We finished military 2. Very cheap technology. Do combat robotics. It's not going to happen for a long time though. What about, do we have anything related to this? We're missing logistics. Okay, we can do that. Do that. And we're going to want to start doing larger furnaces. We're going to need steel plate for that though. I guess we'll start out with stones and upgrade them directly later on. So probably here is where we'll start. And we'll just continue this down, and on the other side, same deal. And we're going to want to pull this off of this assembly line. Oh, we have tons of inserters. I grabbed those off the line earlier. That's right. Hook up a couple of these just to increase the rate without having to build fast inserters. That's probably highly inefficient, but it's fine. So in order to keep producing here, what we should also do is have a box along the line and just store probably at the end of the line or towards the end. This probably is not the actual end of the line, but you know, just store our resources here. Do that and that. So we can store solid fuel in there. And we're going to want to pull off lots of it there, and we are just out of iron already. Do this and that and this. And we'll connect it via this. Okay. These are now working. Produce iron ore. Let's just throw down regular inserters for now. There we go. And this needs power, of course. All right, so we now have iron production again. Just a very simple chain. Okay, and what we're going to want to do this time is send the iron plates on their own track. And we probably will hook it up this direction, I'm thinking. Using long-handed inserters, of course. So we are missing iron. We're just going to grab from here for now. So what we're going to do is feed iron plates onto this conveyor belt, which this conveyor belt is then going to feed into a steel production area, which is going to be over here probably. See if we can't get another 2-3 furnaces going. 2 is probably the limit that we're going to be able to get for now. And let's just run this like that, and we're going to run this similarly here. Oops. And this is going to be used for the fuel for our steel furnaces, so that's why it's going to continue farther. This is the steel line. And after that point, we can just turn it, and that will become the real. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Go up one more, and then turn it. Now this is the area where we can produce steel. But first, let's feed in these normal things. Is that right? No, it's not gonna work there. To move it up one. There we go. That'll work. This is not going to get any solid fuel, so that's not gonna happen. Okay, we're just not gonna have to. We're just gonna ignore that area because it is not going to be working out for us. Technically, we could work something out so we could produce resources there, but I just don't feel like making a gigantic complicated mechanism for it when it's only going to give us slightly faster iron plate production. So now okay, logistics 2, we can get railway, automobilism. Let's go for railway. Do this, and oops. Actually just place a fast inserter here, like so. And now, all of a sudden, we have iron plate production lined up with our fuel. We can now turn this into our steel production line. How are we doing on this? We're going to want more of these, as always. Just run down here for a little bit. Actually, might just stand here. Do we have yet? I only got 67 out of that. Let's just do this. Okay. You can just see how much one unit of this solid fuel is storing up there. We've got 64 stored in there. I'm trying to think for a second if it would be viable to do something a little bit unorthodox. Basically, we would then grab from here, but it would only place if we're running low on that resource. So basically, iron production is going to be fed directly off of these. Steel production will also, unless there's not enough, in which case the long-handed inserter will then start doing it. So that should be good. We are running low on power, it seems. Yeah, we are at, or rather we're over our cap. So let's go and deal with the power situation. Build a couple of steam engines on our way down. Should have quite a bit of steel banked up here, only 29. These things are really slow. I guess they are only 2 furnaces. And we'll collect stone out of here. How much? Yeah, we have 390 plastic, plenty of plastic. And let's go ahead and build some more of these. And we're just going to go to the right more. We're just going to stack more of these. I know that 4 boilers can handle more than just these 4. There's 8 boilers there actually, so we should at least be able to handle 8 steam engines, but I'm pretty sure that it doesn't work one-to-one like that. The boilers are more efficient than the engines in terms of, you know, what they can satisfy, that is. And in any case, our coal production is high enough that we could always expand our boiler production later down the line, should the need arise. A lot of trees over here. Okay, we'll grab a couple of mediums. Maybe 3 mediums should be good. I just needed 2 there. So how's power now? We're still kind of close to the cap. I guess, let's see, 12 of these, 12 times 5 is going to be 6 megawatts. Technically, we should be able to make. However, the temperature here has fallen, so why is that? Is that because the boilers are now having to go into full drive and they just haven't had time to heat it up? That is a possibility. Huh, what we might need to do is add another set of boilers. Oh my, we're losing buildings over here. It's like they're out of ammo. Oh, there's a lot of the enemies. Okay, what we're gonna do in this situation then is just build some more, rather than going to fight them ourselves because we have really bad weapons, we're going to build some gun turrets and retreat to existing areas with gun turrets. Just give that some ammo. This thing is out of ammo, that's why it's failing. So we can shoot them ourselves, we're just not very good at it. All we have is a pistol. So, alright, time to run. Back to this gun turret. So we need to amp up defenses, obviously. The main problem there, it looked like they just ran out of ammo rather than they were being overwhelmed with sheer numbers. What's this? One turret's engaged with the enemy. Probably that one over there is what it's referring to. It looks like the enemy comes to this specific area here. Stack these right against the wall. And we're going to want to create more of these ammo things. Apparently we can actually create more piercing rounds than we can the other kind. Let's just create a few of these. Until we can actually do a little bit on the automation front. And what we might do then is also stack up the walls a little bit thicker directly in front of these guns, the area that was being attacked. So then hopefully the enemy will have to get through that layer first. So yeah, we are now having to deal with actual attacks, which is unfortunate. Pull out these two because they're now within the wall, so there's not really a point in having them there. And we'll stack them here. And I'll split my own ammo, give half here and the other two there. Okay. Five guns. Got this one here. We can run two for personal defense along with that one. And apparently that one down there. We're going to want to build more guns, but I think we're going to do that in the next part. So for now, I'll see you guys. In this part we did quite a bit. We managed to set up this entire new facility. We did some stuff with fluids, got plastic going, and we got attacked. So next time we're going to look at improving base defenses and finally getting